Welcome to Blink 155, the internet's only Blink 182 podcast that is low-key a true crime podcast. Josiah, how are you doing?
Hell yeah. That's what it is now.
You've really emerged as the voice of the voiceless, an intrepid reporter righting wrongs, a man interviewing an accused domestic terrorist behind the paywall.
Are you talking about the Play Online Songs girls? Or?
Yes, of course. I am talking about the controversy when... no, let's not... Now I've learned that you shouldn't joke.
Yeah.
The one thing I learned from the recent Patreon exclusive episode of Blink 155 is never joke.
Right, because it's kind of funny that like so many things that you say that are so horrible are quoted out of context, and then now we've learned what could happen if you did such a thing. Right.
So for people who don't give us $5 a month for literally like one or maybe two extra episodes, you may not have heard Josiah's recent foray into the darker side of Americans' prison industrial complex in an episode titled The Runescape Felon. Josiah, who is the Runescape Felon?
Well, I mostly just wanted to know what RuneScape was.
Right, so you reached out to this guy.
I was like, look, if anyone can explain to me what RuneScape is. No, what happened was...
It's a man who went to jail for loving RuneScape too much.
Yeah, that's like the dystopian future.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to love RuneScape anymore. No, actually, that is what first caught my eye to it, because we played like a RuneScape, like Blink-182 music video in one of our first episodes, and we were both like, what's RuneScape? Because we were both too like cool and like intellectual to know what that is.
Yeah.
And then everyone was roasting us for not knowing what RuneScape was. So then I was like, well, fuck. For not only do I not know what RuneScape is, I've seen people sharing this interview on PCGamer.com with what looks like a domestic terrorist, and he has like sort of mop hair, Justin Bieber hair, and he's wearing a Blink-182 shirt. I mean, all of the criteria of what it takes to be my new best friend was just like
right. He's just checking those boxes. But I actually am curious, because I didn't see this article being shared. This is, sometimes there are like long reads that sort of blow up your feed, and this was something that seemingly you found. Because you read PC Gamer? How did...
No, like I saw some people on Twitter like being like, look at this like terrorist with a Blink-182 shirt, basically, like making fun of him. And I was like, this guy's going to be my friend now.
Right. And so you reached out to him.
So I read the article, and then I saw he was doing like some YouTube vids. I saw that I found his name. I messaged him on Facebook, and then he immediately was like, yo, I never thought anyone would ask me to do this, but I love Blink-182 so much, so I would absolutely love to come on your podcast. But then, like, in the few days after that, he became, like, quite YouTube famous, like, instantly. And then he's been replying.
Sort of adopted a little bit, and this is sort of unfortunate. He's definitely been adopted by, like, the sort of free speech YouTube faction.
I mean, I guess we should explain, like, literally who he is.
Yeah, like...
So that people know.
People haven't read this PC Gamer article that only you read.
So basically, whatever RuneScape is, I still don't really get it, but it's a game. And in 2012, when Josh was... he had some pretty serious alcohol and drug issues and was addicted to gaming, and was also, like, really into, like, edgy troll internet lord kind of humor. It's, like, really bad... mix of things. He said to somebody that he was going to turn their school into gravel while he was talking on chat, and then he said like other stuff. He said all kinds of like messy shit that was like,
he made a bunch of threats about like destroying a school, destroying his school, I believe. Right?
But then he also said he was going to do like the next Columbine or something. Like he was just like, he said a bunch of horrible shit that definitely makes sense that it would have set off some alarms. But then the RuneScape server alerted the FBI, who showed up at his house like 5 days later. And then, according to his side of the story, the prosecutor built a case to prove that he was, in fact, planning to blow up a school, even though there was numerous reasons why we should be led to believe that he was just being a troll.
And necessary context here, which he provides in the episode, is that you guys get into this, like, how do you, like, this is a guy who ostensibly probably shouldn't have spent all his time in jail, but he freely admits, he's like, come to my house, tear my house apart. I said horrible shit that I shouldn't have said on the internet, and you have to take that seriously because this is sort of the state of the union. But ultimately, like, this is a person who had no weapons in their house, no, previous convictions, yada, yada, yada. This was not somebody who was actually preparing to commit a violent act.
Yeah, but regardless, because I guess they wanted to make an example, or I don't know what was in the mind of the prosecutor. I have a feeling that, like, this guy's story will probably turn into, like, a true crime documentary.
Oh, the whole time.
To.
It's an insanely, like, it's ready. It's ready for that treatment. And he's got a great character. He's got a great, like, voice and a great kind of, his vernacular is really interesting. Anyway.
And he loves Blink-182.
Yes.
So,
so he goes to jail for domestic terrorism for years, comes out and appears in multiple photos in a Blink-182 shirt. And so you reach out to him because you're like,
I'm like, yo, you like Blink-182?
Yeah.
Takes all kinds.
That's this podcast, is we just talk to all 155 Blink-182 fans that there are, and so he was one, had to reach out to him. And so you guys conducted this interview that is on the Patreon where I talked to you afterwards, and I said, how did it go? Because I was genuinely kind of curious what the fuck you were going to talk about, and not to...
And also, I feel like everyone
out.
was a little bit mad of me for even pursuing it.
Not everyone approved of... Because, we just didn't know.
It just, on the surface, you're like, oh, you're going to talk to a terrorist about Blink-182, which, like, also, straight up, I probably would if I could.
No, like, as you're saying it, I'm like, that's Josiah. So you described your conversation, and again, I don't want to narc you out, but I think it's relevant. You said the conversation kind of had you feeling like you were going to get choked up at some point. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This interview is like a touching piece of real journalism about consequence. This is not like a man who pretends that he is 100% innocent of everything he was accused of, but maintains that he's innocent of the larger, worser things, which I think is fair. And the power of music to bring us through our darkest moments. Now, for me, that's like I have to work late on a project, and for this for this man, it was having his life completely destroyed and being rendered presumably unemployable. I mean, it is going to wreck his entire life, not just the last several years of it.
Well, even just like even just trying to set up the interview with him is like, you can tell his life is kind of in shambles. Like, it was like, I might be able to talk to you tomorrow, but I might have to spend a few extra hours at my parole officer, and I'm trying to get my driver's license, and just like it's truly a very fascinating time in this guy's life.
Yeah, and he told us how to make real prison tattoos, of which he gave himself 2 of the Blink variety. Yeah. Like, this is a man who gave himself Blink tattoos, stick and pokes with a staple in prison.
And he also, it was a staple from an issue of Rolling Stone.
Yes.
Which may or may not have been the same issue where he found out. I don't want to give away too much. There's so much more. You got to hear it. I'll give away this one thing.
Okay.
This issue of Rolling Stone, he found out that...
No, you're not even... Sorry. You're not even teeing it up right. He was given that issue of Rolling Stone while in solitary. He was in The Shoe, which we're all familiar with because of Orange is the New Black. And he was in The Shoe, and he got this magazine. And now continue.
And so he was like, oh, my God, there's a new Blink-182 album. Wait a minute, why does it talk about Tom DeLonge in the past tense? And he sort of pieced together that Tom was no longer in the band and had been replaced. And he described it to me as the worst day of his entire prison sentence.
It's a really special conversation, and I don't want to just... It seems shitty because now it's just like... This makes me feel terrible, frankly, because we're... bilking something that we've put behind a paywall for a man.
That's good. That's how it should be.
Yeah. But it is, and also in defense of us doing it, I think an incredibly nuanced conversation with someone who is a very compelling and thoughtful individual with, again, with remorse for some things. And I think a really interesting perspective on the other things that maybe the situations where he was not treated fairly or justly. And I could not believe how amused and engaged and touched I was by it. I don't know. It
Well,
was
on
insane.
that note, let's talk about a song called Blowjob.
It'd be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob.
So before we get to today's episode, I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Blood Brothers Brewing, who sent me a fresh six-pack of their delicious brews after I complained about it on the podcast. So thank you to Patrick Wynn Williams, head brewer of Blood Brothers. Right now I'm enjoying a Parapanera. Yum. Blood Brothers.
So they get advertising when they don't send you beer.
No, he did
and
say-
then,
oh, right.
No, but I'm saying, and then they
Yeah.
do, and then they get. This is you're being pushed around by Big Crafty.
Parapanera, a light sour with apricot. Thanks, Blood Brothers. And thank you, Pat. Josiah, over to you.
Oh God.
So, blowjob, eh?
Yeah, we're still doing joke songs. Really,
What
no good reason. Just a bunch of joke songs we're gonna keep doing until.
This is like, no one's enjoying it. Like, ska season was like fun, and people like it on the socials seemed really into it. Like, everyone, it kind of developed its own little set of memes. It's not like anybody's like, hell yeah, joke season.
No,
Like, everyone's
No
just suffering with us right now.
People were saying that they couldn't even make it through the whole "fuck a dog" episode.
Well, that's fair.
Oh, I know what I wanted to bring up because we've kind of been recording like way in advance on everything. So we've been missing timely things, and there is something very related to joke season that we need to bring up.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is because of our influence. Like, I don't want to take credit for the meme because I know we've seen other people like CornFan420 and other people say it, but
Travis's
a meme
blood
that-
clots.
No, I don't care about that.
Okay.
I mean, I hope he gets better soon. I hope he's fine, obviously.
Yes, of
I
course.
saw someone on Twitter was like, you guys hate Travis. You probably are glad that he has blood clots. Like,
What?
that's not true. Are you
Well,
dumb?
I did just joke about them, but like, that's no. Oh my God. No.
Yeah. No.
I thought, it's fine. We should. I had a thought.
Our listeners are dumb, dude.
So, okay, what about joke season? What did we
So-
miss?
So, CornFan420 is where I first saw this. I think that he kind of thought of it himself, but I've seen other record of it existing online for a long time. But we've adopted this as our cause lately, which is the phrase "Dude Ranch is come."
Yes.
And so the thought that, I mean, just to recap, enema of the state, obviously a pun. Take off your pants and jacket, another pun. Prior to that, why would they have just said Dude Ranch? I mean, we already know that there's the alphabet theory with all the titles. I think that also they were loving puns. Dude Ranch is a perfect pun because
so good.
semen has a ranchy consistency. But either way, and I think that does relate to this week's song, but either way, people have been talking about it a lot on Twitter. And finally, somebody said, Mark, can you please settle this? I should have actually loaded it up so that I could actually read it properly.
Yeah.
But
Well,
somebody-
Dude Ranches Come has been the rally, like the quiet but sort of constant rallying cry of this podcast. I remember, I think we only asked George Pettit to come, of Dead Tired and Alexis on Fire, to come on the pod after he posted, like, of his own volition on his personal account, a meme of like the skeleton having its mind blown of like holding Dude Ranch, and like when you realize Dude Ranch has come. Someone photoshopped on Melania Trump's jacket of the controversial jacket moment that we had, Dude Ranch has come. Maybe that was you. Was that you?
That was friend of the pod, Daniel.
Thank you, friend of the pod.
IRL
Dan.
friend of the pod.
IRL, yeah, part of the fam. And so Dude Ranch has come, I think, anytime Mark has kind of opened up, like, hey, I got 10 minutes, ask me anything. We've both jumped in there trying to get to the bottom of the cum. And so someone did. Someone sort of flagged him down.
So someone named Mitchell Mitchell WOJCIK, pronounce that as you will. He wrote, "Hey, at Mark Hoppus, can you confirm that Dude Ranch is just a euphemism for cum?" Now that request for comment went ignored, but then somebody named Megan Thompson manually shared the tweet and said, "Mark Hoppus, can you clear this up so all of my friends will stop talking about it on my damn timeline while I try to eat my snacks?" Megan Thompson just wants to eat her snacks.
I get it. Yeah, Megan, I'm hungry all the time. So
Yeah, but so
same's
what?
ease.
You shouldn't be censoring people just
No,
for that reason. I think that's rude.
I want everyone, whenever you post, just assume that I am snacking while looking at your posts and proceed accordingly.
Well, Mark replied to that tweet with a simple, "Ew, gross, no."
Which, like, what? How is that the gross thing? Like, of all, this is I'm offended by the response. Like, it's not oh my God, never. Like, is he, what part of that is he grossed out by?
It's
The
such
cum?
it's such a, like, there's this constant debate going on right now about civility and whether you should be civil about everything. And I think this is sort of that attitude in response to the cum debate. He's like, I would never debase myself by saying this sort of thing.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like most of Blink's sexual innuendos, and I think we've discussed this before, are like sort of virginal, right? Like there's an implication, and we talked about this in one of the dumb episodes about the fact that like it's entirely possible that while singing all of these songs about like fucking dogs and fucking people's grandparents, like that no one in Blink had ever actually engaged in intercourse. And maybe this proves that theory, because how could you be a band sort of so wholly dedicated to not just like dick jokes, but like sex jokes, and then think that the sort of, end result, potential end result, is like, ew. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, the ew thing is baffling and so frustrating. I've sort of played it that he was grossed out by being forced to answer the question, but I think the real conclusion that we've been working towards for a very long time, and I want to thank the Twitter user for pointing it out, but it's called The Death of the Author, which is that the intended meaning of someone's art kind of doesn't matter anymore once it's in the hands of the viewer or the beholder or the listener. Mm-hmm. And so regardless of what Mark thinks or intends, it doesn't really matter because Dude Ranch is cum, and we know that it's cum, and it's sort of like maybe he didn't realize that, but he made it is cum because like the context of his entire life's work shows that it's cum.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, we now have Mark's cum in our hands. And when I look at my hands...
Ew, gross, no.
I don't say ew, gross. I say these are two blessed hands drenched in cum. And that's my interpretation.
I could scoop it off the bidet. And
yeah, exactly. But that frustrated me. It really did.
It's frustrating and it's angering. But I think... it is a valuable reminder of the death of the author, and there's nothing we can really do. I mean, that same Mark is also the Mark who encouraged and prodded Tom to sing this Blowjob song and harmonized it. And I mean, let's be honest, it's the same dude.
I know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's like the multiple Andrew WK theory, or
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, where they just replaced him. It's like they've actually all been replaced. Like we've been obsessing over the idea that Matt Skiba was sort of dressed up to just look like Tom to less discerning fans. Maybe that was like, it's like a long con. That's the fucking dude. The fucking prestige is that Mark has been swapped, and we were just looking at the wrong thing the whole time.
The thing about Mark is that, like, I bet you there is probably, maybe we'll find it through the course of this podcast, but there is a time where he switched from being like a mischievous, shit-eating grin, like funny guy, to just being like, I'm a nice, decent man.
Who still wants to, play those songs and play in front of the same giant light-up fuck sign as when he was like a nasty boy.
Yeah, it'd be maybe he wants to change the sign to say frick now.
They wouldn't invest the money, I don't think. That's not in the cards.
So is this song called Blowjob, or is it called Blue Job, or is it called the Blowjob song?
I did not own the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, so I have sort of no real preconceived notions about this song, except that in the massive Google Doc that I made before we started this podcast to try to make sure that there were 155 songs. And to be honest, I still don't know, and we don't really know if the interludes are counted in there. We haven't ever gone back and checked.
No.
But it is listed in that document because it is listed on Wikipedia as Blowjob.
Come roll. Come roll, please.
Yeah, so I think Blowjob.
Trying to build anticipation.
I know, I'm so sorry. And I talked over it.
over you.
And then I was like, come on, what is... I thought you were talking like a hand roll. Like I was picturing like a sushi roll that's just
Also,
like
now that we're just a
blasted.
podcast that references itself nonstop, I want to say last week something funny happened where because of the Skype delay, we both like had full conversation over each other.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty normal, like just narcissistic dude shit though.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Blowjob, but this is the other problem is like the only place that this has been officially released is on the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, but it's listed as Blue Job. So that makes me think that it's called Blue Job, but then the song Dick Lips is listed as Rich Lips, and we know that it's called Dick Lips. So I'm just kind of like completely lost here.
Well, so I'm thinking that maybe the Mark, Tom, and Travis show was a major release, right? Coming on the end of, up until then, their biggest successes. It's a cash in. I mean, that's literally why it exists. And so it was definitely designed to be able to be front racked in Walmart. And I mean, probably just Walmart, places where you can't even sell CDs that have swear words or sort of spooky imagery on them. And so if anything, that is an argument for why it is called Blowjob and not the Blowjob song and not Blue Job. Because it's clear that that's just like a mass market misnomer.
Well, that's why. So, hang on. You think Blowjob is more Walmart friendly than Blue Job, which is like a little clever.
No, I'm saying Blue Job is the Walmart clever version of Blowjob, the name of the song.
But if the only time it has ever been released, it's released with a alternate title, does that not become the actual title?
This is a fascinating philosophical exercise.
Right?
Right. Well, How do they introduce it? Because I know in finding a version of this to listen to before we recorded, I saw multiple live performances. So this was a momentary staple of the live set, correct?
Yeah, and it still is actually.
Really? Is it?
But we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
So when they introduce it now, what do they say?
I don't think they ever have said this is a song called Blowjob, but I mean they clearly never say Blue Job either. So I think, it's just one of those problems where everyone will call it Blowjob or the Blowjob song, but I'm just saying it's only ever been commercially released as Blue Job. So again, this is kind of a audience interpretation thing where like, what is the song called? Like, does any of this even mean anything? Where are we as a human race?
Right. So this is sort of like the Blue Job is another sort of death of the author scenario where we've just decided to name the song something else. Or is this like a Berenstein, Bears situation?
I guess. But the other weird thing is that all of the reviews, because I actually had never really looked at reviews of the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, and I was correct in assuming that they're very funny because people are so mad about them. But they always talk about Blowjob, not Blue Job.
Okay.
So I guess somehow maybe
The
even
press
inside
version.
the CD it says Blowjob, and I don't know. Someone's probably so mad right now. And honestly, go fuck yourself.
What is with this like antagonistic Josiah that we're...
It's great. I don't know. I think when we get to like a certain amount of listeners, we should be allowed to just openly hate everyone who listens to us.
Okay. And you think we're there?
No, I think we're like it's just sort of evolving a little bit.
Right. So you're letting it kind of bubble up, but soon it'll,
Soon it'll just be pure raw hatred towards everyone who listens.
Okay, sick. I'm ready for it. I can't wait.
But yeah, I thought this NME review was really good of the Mark, Tom, and Travis show. It's written by, where did it go? Sioban? Is there a way? There's probably like a British way of pronouncing that.
Yeah,
Sioban.
Siobhan.
Oh, Siobhan. Yeah, okay. Right. Sioban.
Yeah, Sioban.
So, Sioban Grogan, she said, I really just like the opening. It's been said before that Americans can't do irony. What a great lead.
Oh,
and although go ahead.
Nothing. I mean, I was just like looking at the date, and this is post 9/11. This is obviously being written in 2005, I guess, when this record came out. When like Americans were so good at irony that 9/11 killed it. That was like part of the headline of 9/11 was that irony died. And little did they know.
Yeah, the weird thing too is that this actually came out in 2000, but then all the all the record reviews seem to be posted in 2005. So I'm wondering if this has to do with like people's CMS or something getting switched over.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But I found a bunch from 2005, and this one was posted the day after 9/11.
Wow.
2005.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just crazy to think that British people once thought that, because lately I've been finding so much British humor to be so like cloyingly unironic and irritating.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, obviously, like the sort of British comedic tradition is like very dry, but it's also the ministry of silly walks. You know,
yeah, or where's Waggy?
Yeah, or like Dame Edna. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of just like.
There's a lot of not ironic things in Britain.
Yeah. Like, and I would argue that, like, irony is, in fact, rotting America from the inside out.
Maybe that's what she means when she says we can't, or not us, but Americans can't do irony, is like...
Oh, they can't handle it.
Yeah, they just don't know the line. I don't know.
Right, it's like saying Americans can't drink. And it's like, well, no, Americans are literally killing themselves from drinking. Oh, I see what you're saying, right?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, British people like have a couple of points at the pub, and then,
every hour of every day.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like part of their constitution. They're not constantly dying from it. And I mean, they are, some of them.
I mean, they literally are.
Yeah.
And they're also eating like blood pies or whatever every meal.
Yeah.
Anyways, Americans can't do irony. And although such stereotyping may be unfair, listening to Blink-182 really does make you wonder. You hope that they're so clever they're building a career on sending up the archetypal Beavis band from the States, that they're showing just how much anyone can get away with if they play dumb. Maybe they're testing everyone to see how seriously we'll take them, laughing at us as they count the cash.
I like that this person is like, this incredibly popular band is just doing irony. Like I do appreciate the idea of an archetypal Beavis band, though. Like, that sounds like all of the bands that I want to listen to.
Isn't that just Mean Jeans? I think it is.
Mean Jeans is the archetypal Beavis band for sure.
I don't know. Rules. I kind of hate that. Like, I think that's a crutch that people lean on. Like, oh, are you just doing a bit? That's obviously my whole life is people saying that to me. Like, whether I'm just like wearing some weird thrift store clothes and they're like, are you doing a bit right now with what you're wearing? Or like, you like Blink-182 so much, is that a bit? I just think that, like, also people think that human beings are too capable of irony to such a degree that they aren't. Like, they're like, a perfect example of this is that everyone thought for so many years that Louis C.K. was doing this like high performance caricature of a gross perverted man.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. Like, no one, pretty much I think almost no one has a stage persona. Everybody is drawing on their own experiences.
Well, there is like that sort of, I'm trying to think of what the word is, like the sort of catchphrase of believe people when they tell you who they are, right? Something like that.
Right. Yeah.
That gets used a lot when people like Louis C.K. are unmasked as, not just people who joke about like furiously masturbating and like assaulting women, but in fact are doing exactly that. And I think maybe it's that irony is equated with a degree of intelligence, right? And so in imbuing as a viewer something with like an ironic level of like enjoyment that maybe only you get, you are somehow elevating your experience of it. And so it makes you feel better for liking things that are ostensibly dumb. Like Jackass is a perfect example of this, right? Where like Jackass is great because Jackass is great. But I have absolutely in a past life been like, it's great because it's ironic. Like I'm sure that's come.
It's
I'm
like
sure
a parody
that's come
of
out
American Excess or something.
Yeah, and you're like, because it's not just like Steve-O, right? You also have like Spike Jonze. And Spike Jonze knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and
Spike Jonze is just a fucking idiot skater. He's awesome. I really like Spike Jonze.
He's
but
just like a hipper version of all those guys. But the thing is, I think that little bit, that little flavor, like irony is like a flavor. It's like sort of like the glue that makes it so that Spike Jonze and Steve-O can be in the same place. But it's not. I think very few people are actually doing like the high performance kind of thing that everyone seems to get credit for, where they're just like, oh, is LMFAO just doing a bit to show us what America is like or whatever? It's like, probably not. But also, if you want to like it because you think that it's so dumb that it's funny, that's also sick and good. So go for it.
Was it you that tweeted a couple of days ago that like enough time has passed that we can finally recognize that LMFAO is a sick band name?
Yeah, it's so good.
It is extremely good.
But also, I think maybe the like this. I don't like this premise because there is something beautifully ironic about Blink-182 writing stupid nursery rhymes and becoming at one point the biggest band in the world. But that's more, again, on the interpretation side, not on something that they're necessarily intentionally doing.
Well, yeah, and it's not that irony is not real, but irony is ultimately an intellectual exercise, right? And so just like the way that most people tend to enjoy and experience music and culture is on much more of a gut level. The things that maybe stand the test of time or that you find yourself returning to or drawing inspiration from in some capacity, those are often pieces of art, whether they're a song like Blowjob or, a great film, that have some extra level that you can continue to go through, right? But to imply that, like, that's the reason that you are doing something or you like something is, I think, like, extremely disingenuous and empty, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just truly, as I get older, I think more and more that irony is just more like a genre rather than like I don't think it's like, maybe not even a genre. Like,
no,
it's
I
not
think you nailed it with the
like
flavor.
you can't just say you can't just say irony is corrosive or evil or something, because it's just like it's just something that, something that boosts whatever the thing is. Like if it seems ironic to you and that's a way that you can enjoy it, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I
also think like irony is maybe like a cilantro or something, where like some people taste it and it tastes like really strong and bad, but some people like it. And ultimately, though, it might get lost in a sea of other flavors. Like if you have a very, refined palate, you can pick it out. But like I don't have a very refined palate. And I mean that both in the literal sense and the figurative sense. I'm a very simple man. And so like if you're having a big meal with lots of flavors, you might not be able to sort of point out, oh, is that, this spice and this, herb. It just all comes together, and it's a delicious jumbo for you to enjoy.
It all comes together.
And that's
together.
what Blowjob.
I just wanted to get to the
jumbo.
paragraph about Blowjob. So she continues, 20 thrashing 3-minute tracks later, though, and the only thing that impresses here is how the band have got this far without knowing more than 4 chords, which they repeat in the same order in every song. Also, Tom, Mark, and Travis have the sort of bratty, squealing voices that make you want to gouge out your own eyeballs for a distraction, the vocal equivalent of fingernails screeching down a blackboard, especially on the tedious or comedy tracks like Blowjob and Family Reunion.
Yeah.
I do. Oh, man. I also just really miss reading negative career-ruining reviews.
Well,
what a fun time that was.
Yeah. I think most reviews now are generally assigned to writers who at least sort of appreciate the band. And so if you're going to slag them, it might be in the context of otherwise sort of recognizing the relevance of their career and finding what they did right. Like, I haven't read, a review that's just like, this person hates this fucking band. And I love that a lot.
And I think also, having read that again right now, I did just realize maybe one thing that does give this song some credence as like an intentionally ironic thing is that on the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, Tom is like, I just made this up 4 days ago or whatever. And you've talked about how it's a cash grab. So perhaps maybe I'm doing what I said I don't like and giving him too much credit, but maybe it's also him tongue-in-cheekly being like, we're so famous and rich and we're doing this cash grab and I'm going to make the stupidest sing-along song ever.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But it's the same as like the kind of joke tracks that are the bonus acoustic tracks that ended up on the album. Like that is them fucking with people. So it's not that that was never present in the band's identity. And so for her to say that they're like a Beavis band that doesn't know they're a Beavis band is not true. And I don't think Blowjob necessarily represents, you could argue, and I'm interested in this sort of line, that maybe that's the point. But I think for sure the other songs show that they understood the space that they occupied and were capable of fucking around within that for their own amusement.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, I think we should get into the lyrics.
There's a lot to unpack here, so we're going to want to... This is going to be a long one, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually think it might be kind of long.
Can't Get You More Pregnant was so fucking long.
That was one of our
ridiculous,
best episodes, I think.
It was a good one, yeah. But this one, I don't know.
All right. So the lyrics, well, we're not going to read the preamble because it's not relevant. Like, there's different versions. But the lyrics are, it would be nice to have a blowjob. 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 It would be nice to have a blowjob from your mom.
Right. That was like... The repetition really gave me that, like, Goodwill Hunting feeling of, like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's like... Josiah really thinks it would be nice to have a blowjob, I guess. So what do we make of this? Do we feel like there's a more subtle meaning here? Do you think there's like literary biblical allusions? Is it an allegory?
Obviously, it would be nice to have a blowjob is like, that's a relatable sentiment for pretty much anyone on earth, because there is another live video that I'm going to get to with our guests later. But they mentioned that they actually are referring to all oral sex, and they've sort of, even in the year 2000, they sort of retroactively refitted it to be inclusive.
Right, yeah. Have I ever talked to you about seeing Ludacris at South by Southwest and how he like introduces Use a Hoe as like a female empowerment anthem?
Yeah, you mentioned that on the pod, I think. Like,
yeah, it's so
100
good.
episodes ago or whatever. It's kind of amazing when people do that. Also because there's only one line of this song, they could have just changed it. But either way, it would be nice to have a blowjob. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You want to have a blowjob? I understand what you're saying here. But then there's the from your mom tag is a slight diversion that might count as a punchline.
Right.
Perhaps.
It's so barely a punchline, but I really appreciate it. And the way it's delivered with such panache. We talked a lot in the last episode, and I mean that quite literally. We talked a lot in the last episode. And one of the things that we talked about was the fact that it doesn't feel like it has a punchline. Like, it feels like they give away the punchline with the title, and so there's nothing there. And I like about this because if you'll excuse this not really being a pun, it's a very limp punchline, but it's delivered with such like harmonic razzmatazz that personally I can't help but be kind of charmed by it.
Well, it's kind of like, it makes me think of like the little bit of copywriting that I've done. And when I was just sort of bullshitting my way into getting freelance work, I would look up online like how to copyright. And when I was learning about what call to action writing is, I was like, that's
a CTA,
the dumbest,
that's what you call it in the biz.
Like, I was like, that's the stupidest shit ever. That's not going to change anyone's mind. But eventually you realize that saying at the end of a thing, like, click here now, or, whatever you put, that does connect with people's brain in some weird, bizarre way.
Yeah, people have insanely dumb brains, and it's super easy to manipulate them with advertising. And so Do you think this is like the CTA tag at the end of
Basically,
this
yeah. Like
ad for
without
blowjobs?
without the "from your mom" part, the song would not be very satisfying because it would be like, that's so stupid. But at least they've added something. It's like saying like click here at the end. You're like, well, they've put no effort into this, but there's still an instruction at the end. In the same way that this is clearly a terrible joke and a terrible punchline, but at least the structure is there where you're like, okay, that's satisfying enough, I guess.
Right. So you're saying you think like Tom maybe has a bright future in copywriting if the whole aliens thing doesn't work out?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know, because copywriting is so bad everywhere. I think anyone could do it.
I think maybe, but it's more difficult than perhaps you're giving Tom credit for. And also it can be soul destroying. And that's the reason why not everyone can do it.
All right. Well, you mentioned that is it an allegory or something? I was curious, and so I Googled this and found that. I mean, I don't know how you determine like a "yo mama" joke versus just saying "your mom." Like I feel like
you asked Wilder
"yo mama"
Valderrama. Well, is Wilder Valderrama? Is he problematic?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that TV show "Yo Mama."
It was so good.
It's so bad. Oh God, maybe Americans are truly not capable of irony because of Yo Mama.
Yo Mama. Oh man, I'm looking at Wilmer Valderrama's Wikipedia page, and there's no subsection for controversy, so I'm going to go ahead and say you ask Wilmer Valderrama.
All right, and then about a week from now, we know how it goes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The Blink-155 curse.
Yep.
But so IO9, which appears to be a Gawker Media family group or Gizmodo or whatever. In 2012, they wrote about the world's oldest Yo Mama joke. And it's really not, like, they didn't say Yo Mama back then because this is a 3,500-year-old joke.
Okay, what's the joke?
So, to be honest with you, it's really confusing, but basically, around 1500 BCE, a student in ancient Babylon inscribed 6 riddles on a tablet. 3,500 years later, these proto-jokes lose a lot in the translation. But one thing's for sure, the Babylonians are saying something about your mother. That's what they've written here. And so there's actually a bunch of like jokes, and there's even a fart joke on these ancient tablets.
Yeah.
But
is this like the first Blink-182 demo?
Yeah, I think it might be, actually. But the translation is really confusing, but this is apparently... this is the translation. It says, "Of your mother is by the one who has intercourse with her. What/who is it? No answer."
It was Tom. This is a fucking prophecy, dude. This is a fucking prophecy. This is a Babylonian prophecy from 1,500 years BCE foretelling the coming of Tom. Is there like a thing about Dude Ranch in here?
Let's see. There's a fart joke. There's...
I'm going to read the fart joke because I don't even get this. At least like, because the Yo Mama joke, it seems like it's been broken up by time, and so that's why the whole joke isn't there. But it looks like this entire fart joke is intact. Something which has never occurred since time immemorial. Something which has never occurred since time immemorial. A young woman did not fart in her husband's lap. I don't
really get it either, but
I don't get it.
It seems
is that irony?
It's better than the Bohemian Rhapsody joke.
It
I
is.
feel like someone could turn this into a 30-second joke punk song. But I feel like last week's episode would really fit with this one. The deflowered girl did not become pregnant. The undeflowered girl became pregnant. What is it? Auxiliary forces.
Is that a bidet? Is that the Babylonian word for bidet?
Now, the undeflowered girl, was she the surrogate or?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. And then okay. Lots to unpack there.
I mean, I guess we're really learning that humor does evolve and has evolved a lot, or devolved, if you're British and into contemporary British stuff.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at the photo that goes along with this article. There's 3 dudes, it looks like. That could be the 3 members of Blink-182. I just feel like all signs are pointing to like a sort of 2012 type, serious future telling that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you might be right. I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting to see the history of making fun of people's moms, but I also should have looked further because I kind of doubt that Tom was looking back to the Babylonian tablets when he was writing this.
Well, when do we think Tom's sort of interest in aliens and then presumably, because ancient civilization sort of goes along with that, right? Because everyone who believes in aliens kind of always thinks like, it's like, well, I mean, there's an entire show called Ancient Aliens.
Right.
Which I'm sure Tom has watched.
And these were excavated in present day Iraq. These tablets.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, didn't Blink go to Iraq or something?
That's what I was going to say.
Afghanistan.
They must have. Every famous person has done like a USO tour where they go and like visit the troops and entertain them or whatever. Like, I think Five Finger Death Punch does that like once a month.
Right. Well, and we've already established. I mean, this timeline is all fucked up because they obviously went to wherever they went on that tour way after Take Off Your Pants or Mark Tom Travis show, way after all that shit. But we've already established that Tom exists outside of time and space because of To the Stars.
Yeah. That's
so these
true.
tablets play into it. It all makes sense. So
wow, what a cool day.
I also forgot when I was in the review section that I created. I wanted to show you this review that I found. Because I also realized we've never read any Amazon reviews of.
Oh, why do we not do that?
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if people gave this bad reviews, and they did.
A wellspring of. We should do a whole exclusive of that because I mean, there's how did this get made, and Amazon Movie Reviews, the Twitter account. I mean, there's gold in them hills.
It's true, but like, I'm going to be honest with you. There were some people who gave it 2 and 3 out of 5, which I thought was so funny to give such a like nuanced bad review to the CD version of Mark Tom and Travis show. But I had to flag this. So this is from Randy Lynn Flood, June 21st, 2003. I Googled his name, and it's a real person because this seemed like it could be like a fake post. But again, I don't think humor was at this level of like irony in 2003. So in all caps, he's given it 1 out of 5 stars and written the most horrible CD to ever have been made. And again in all caps, don't ever let yourself hear this CD.
Oh my God, makes it sound like it's cursed. This is the beginning of a horror movie, like
especially because he says, I washed my hands and face and recited the 23rd Psalm 3 times after hearing the first track.
Yeah.
The family reunion song made me sick. To ever imagine that someone could write a song like that and let their children hear it is awful.
It's
Teenagers
like you found
these
this. Sorry, I'll let you go.
Go ahead.
It just feels like it was found in like a cab. Like we're some carefree co-eds, and we've made our way to a cabin for a sick weekend of fun and games. And then this is like what we find, and someone's like, "Oh, I forgot, like my iPod died." And then someone's like, "Oh no, like Christy, do you have your CD wallet?" Like, "No, it's in my car." "Oh, what are we gonna do?" "Well, there's only one CD, but it's accompanied by this horrifying note."
Teenagers these days are condemning themselves just by buying the CD, and it serves them right if they all don't get to go to heaven. Look what they're bringing this world to. A Christian person would never touch this CD, and I think we should all stand up against the sinners at the record companies who make this non-religious nonsense. I think everyone who bought this CD should go home and read their Bibles until they feel clean enough to enter a church again and beg for forgiveness. None of this satanic junk should ever be allowed to hit the market, and if it were my choice, not a single teenager who has listened to this CD would go to heaven.
Wow!
Man, I still kind of think it's fake. I don't know.
So you confirm that this person is real? Because they're making it sound like the sickest black metal.
I found someone named Randy Flood living in like the same town listed on this bio.
Wow, you're a real journalist now since you like interviewed the felon.
It's true. By the way, if you know anyone else who likes Blink-182 who's like a felon or whatever, let me know. Because I think I found my beat finally.
So is this... There's an author named Randy Felon, but is this...
Randy Felon or Randy Flood?
Randy Flood, sorry. I'm thinking about the felon again.
Thinking about that felon.
What the fuck, man? Can you click through? Like, has Randy written other reviews?
I tried doing that, and then there was like they've turned that into like some sort of new Amazon social network thing. So I just closed it. I don't know. Either way, I feel like in 2003, no one was writing this advanced level of kind of like trolling posts.
No, this
Maybe
is
I'm wrong.
This is a contemporary troll. This is on par with like the Amazon review of the mom and the big thing of tissues. It's like that kind of like review trolling, or like the three wolf moon, 5 wolf moon shit. Like trolling Amazon reviews is like in the last 5 years maybe.
Yeah. So I think Randy Flood is very upset about this.
He doesn't want anyone to go to heaven.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like also like I feel like Randy should stop writing Amazon reviews and brush up on his theology, because you don't get to decide that based on a CD,
so how do you feel as a Christian, Josiah? Like I gotta know, because this person is representing. This is not to be a dick, but this is sort of, I'm like, yeah, this is the Christian attitude,
It's true, especially like Christian rock music was full of people like this. I mean, there was all kinds of people. People think that like people would say that MXPX was going to hell because they would only talk about God like every 3 songs or whatever.
Right.
It's a whole like epidemic. But yeah, I don't know. Randy's probably just like really sad. He's probably just like in a really hateful marriage with his wife and his life sucks and no one I don't know. He's probably just a sad guy. This
is the only review that Randy ever wrote, but 2 people said it was helpful. Man, sorry. The 1-star reviews for this are pretty good. I don't want to. Seems like future content, so we should bank it. But another review that 2 people found helpful of the Martel and Travis show is: whoever thought in the deepest, darkest region of their primitive brain that Blink-182, the worst live band in the history of bad live bands, should record a live CD, should be drug out into the street and shot. If you're a big fan of songs missing 4 or 5 guitar parts and vocals that are never in tune, then pick up this bad boy. However, if you have any taste in music or any decency as a human being, do not buy this album or be caught listening to it. That person's going to heaven.
Look, I mean, that's also not how it works, according to any kind of Christianity. It's not just based on like these arbitrary things.
Wow. Like what else would like immediately get you barred from heaven?
Yeah, that's according to Randy's fucking crazy version of it. I don't know. God. But anyways, I thought that was a great glimpse at, again, maybe that is also the function of this, is to just like rile people up.
Maybe. I just find it so baffling that like you click on even though Amazon sort of tried to change over to being social, you click through to anyone else who reviewed the CD, and they've got like 5 or 6 reviews. Like, Randy made an account to tell people they were going to hell by listening to the song Blowjob by Blink-182.
He was pissed about it.
He was pissed. It might be nice if someone would give Randy a blowjob, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like he would chill out a little bit.
Know what? It's fine.
I was just going to say, we found previously foreign merch based on a song, and I found it once again. There's a shirt that says "It would be nice to have a blowjob," and I feel like once it's on a shirt in all caps, it immediately makes you realize just how douchey the song really is.
Oh my god! Yeah, this is like a real "The Man, the Legend" type shirt. Oh.
Like one of those lad accounts that's not the official one. Like the Lad Bible spelt with a 3 or something.
Right. Like a knockoff, not quite as good as Lad Bible.
They don't do as hard-hitting cleavage journalism.
Oh, yeah, just all caps. It would be nice to have a blowjob. Yeah, I hate the song. I hate myself. Maybe I think Randy's right, actually. I don't hate Randy anymore.
Yeah, I think Randy was onto something.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to warn us about this shirt being sold on the website kanui.com.br, which I don't know what's...
The devil's own site.
Yeah. You can buy like knockoff Timberlands and stuff.
Yeah, but this just like reminds me of a shirt you'd get at like a beach store. You know, like we're fortunate friends of the pod. Justin and Nicole. Justin's family has a cottage up in Sauble Beach, Ontario, which is like the closest thing that Ontario has to like a full-on American summer movie from the 70s style beach town. And so there's like a shore store with shirts with sayings on them, and they're all like weed and Molly and sluts and beer. And
yes, please.
right, exactly. It's like you just like check. Are you also a domestic terrorist? Can you explain a video game to me? Fucking sick.
Yeah, it looks like actually this is part of a whole store of more bootleg Blink shirts. So it's a whole marketplace, and yet again, there's never been a single good Blink-182 shirt design.
I mean, you should do a follow up with Marsden,
bootlegs. That'd be
the merch
good.
pundit himself, and just sort of go through all the bootlegs and see if there's something that's sort of redeemable.
I mean, this shirt certainly is not, and I agree, it has kind of ruined the song. But so you were asking about its live tenure, and so
Yeah.
they used to play it with this like funny intro from Tom. One of the most popular videos where our guest specifically wants to talk about that live performance, so I'll save that for him.
Okay.
But they, like it's just like it was just a dumb, funny joke that they did at the time that probably should have stayed in that time. It was like, Tom does this long intro, but you're like, okay, this is of the time, it works. Like, let's give it up. But now, 40 years later, now that Matt Skiba's in the band and they're still going, they had started playing this song on their sets again. And not only that, but they like do this what my wife of the pod and I like to call the Sloan, where they would all switch instruments. So you get Mark playing guitar, Travi playing bass, and Skiba playing drums, and they do this song.
What? Yeah. Why? Like.
It's not even really worth like listening to, but
But we're going to.
no, I don't even think I'll play the audio. But you may as well fucking look at it. I don't know. I mean, you may
This
as well
podcast
see
is
it.
not just for you and I, though.
Yeah, it kind of is, to be honest.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I also think that like you can tell Travis is definitely not actually playing. Oh, maybe he is. No, I don't know.
well, I like that he's playing no pick. Like he's a real jazzman.
Yeah, but
Skiba's
like
got
he's
a
playing
good vibe behind the kit, though.
I don't think Travis is playing. I think they just turned the bass off.
I think
Okay,
he's
fuck.
playing.
I'm giving it audio. I'm going to do the audio. I may as well do the fucking audio.
Yep.
Every time I've noticed that I have this internal battle with myself where I say I'm not going to play something and then I always inevitably play it anyways with no coaxing whatsoever. I just don't do it.
Oh, okay. If we have to listen to all 40 covers that I
I'll say
prepared,
if you're going to pull my leg about it, I
like,
guess
no,
I'll
I'm
have
fine,
to.
man. I'm good. Yeah.
Well, if you're going to beg me, if you're going to start weeping over there, I guess I'll do it.
Right. I am in tears.
I mean,
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but you can't really hear the bass. He definitely was. If he was trying to play along, he definitely like fell behind a bar or something. But that's what they do now. I mean, all I'm saying is that this song is still going on in 2016. They're still doing it literally 16 years after it was released on a CD.
Yeah. I mean, but it's the same as having the massive fuck banner, Like, it's just I've really accepted, or I actually clearly haven't accepted, but I'm sort of coming around to the idea that, like, this is the sickness of nostalgia. That, like, we're allowing this to be paraded before us as if it's anything worth celebrating. Like, this is the giant fuck banner. This is the fucking all the whoa-whoa-whoas on California. Like, This is
It's almost like they've misjudged what are the things people are nostalgic about. Because like no one really cares that much about the fuck banner, do they? It's someone like someone out there like, if I don't see that word fuck on that,
it's Bernie Badass, man. But it's just like it's the thing you love being sort of trotted out as like the most utilizing the most superficial markers of what defined it, right? Because like ultimately, and this is, you know, Josh said this in the Sclusy, like Blink is at its core, I mean, it's Mark and Tom. And so everything else is going to be a pale imitation, you know? And this is just a reminder of that. Like, I don't know. Now I'm fucking depressed, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of fun to see them switch instruments. It'd be
Did
funnier
you
if
have fun?
they
Did you have
switched
fun just now?
instrument.
Are you having fun?
If they switched instruments and tried to play like Asthenia or something,
Yeah.
better. Try to play Stockholm Syndrome. Like play online songs like that.
I mean, the one thing that I appreciate about this video that only you and I can see right now is that Travis, like, standing up and playing bass is a reminder that, like, no one is perpetually cool. So, like, Travis has gotten insanely good at looking super fucking sick while he plays drums and while he, like, poses. And, like, he's good at standing and he's good at sitting and playing the drums. But you put a bass in his hand and he looks as awkward as every other, like, shitty fucking garage band that we play in the latter 45 minutes of this podcast.
Right.
There's nothing different.
He kind of looks like that. Remember that toddler who was like trying to cover a song but didn't know how to play guitar and his mom was yelling at him through the door?
Yeah.
He kind of looks like that.
And he's just sort of like, this is how it looks ish. It's so that I appreciate, but mostly it just reminds me that, like, everything you love will one day be used against you by the machinery of capitalism.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just weird too, because I feel like if someone asked me to plan their live show, or someone even smarter than me, of which there are a few people, maybe, but, you know, I feel like I could come up with like a visual stage plot, like do like videos that go through make the show a journey through their career and have videos that represent each era in the background, or like have fun set pieces, or make a new funny set piece that's even more offensive than the word fuck and even funnier. Make a giant dick come on the stage. There's like unlimited possibilities of what they could do. Yeah,
because bands that actually embrace the theatrical side of being a rock band playing an arena or a fucking casino or whatever it is, you can see them having fun and iterating. Like, you know, Guar knows what it's doing, and they'll fill a giant penis with, like, bloody cum and just spray it on you, and you'll love it.
Or alternately, like, Blink-182 kind of were one of the first very mainstream people to be like, in the rock show video, we're going to waste our label's money, and it's going to be so funny and punk in this weird way, that if they did something like that live and we're like, oh yeah, we spent all of our money on, like, I don't know, a cannon that shoots like pubes at you or something, that would be great.
Yo, if we ever get popular enough to do a live show, even if it's like for
you talking pube cannon?
That's exactly what I'm talking, man. Like, I am so wholly dedicated, and that's how the whole show starts, or it ends. I don't know. If you were watching a live podcast, would you want to be covered in pubes right from the beginning, or just on your way home?
I can't stop thinking of that one girl who listens to the pod whose English is not her first language, and she tweeted that she looked up what the word pube means on like a computer that was on a big monitor in her class or something.
Yeah. This podcast is not safe for work. Sorry, it's a free speech zone, man. I'm Count Dankula.
Yeah, this is a pro Pilalt pod.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, but I also think maybe the purpose of the fuck sign was like to do. Sorry, people are fucking talking to me right now.
What's going on, man? Tell me about it.
I thought it was the text I needed to answer the publicist, but it wasn't. It was just someone else fucking making chit chat. A listener of the pod too.
Listener of the pod. Anything good?
No, I don't know. I'm not reading it right now. I'm too confused. Too much is going on. I'm trying to talk about the fuck sign. What I was going to say is perhaps the fuck sign initially was that message like, oh, look, we wasted all of our budget on this funny fuck sign. But now that fuck sign has paid itself off probably 100 times over.
Yeah, well, it's just anything, I don't know, repetition can be funny. It just feels so lazy now. It all just feels, I don't know. I'm sad. I'm sad, Josiah.
All right. Well, this will cheer you up.
Will it?
While I was looking for covers, I went into a very deep and strange journey through SoundCloud and YouTube. I was sure to include 182 in my searches to try to filter out some of the filth. But I did notice that there is a genre on SoundCloud of just like erotic sounds. So I don't know. I'll just play some of it. It's like people just like so this is uploaded by Erotic Audios, and it's a simulated blowjob. But there's a young woman licking a banana in the prof pic. Okay. But yeah, I didn't really know that this. I didn't know that this existed on SoundCloud, and B, I guess does SoundCloud have like no rules about anything, or it's just like it's an audio medium, right?
Yeah. Have you seen all their freaky deaky rappers, man? No rules. SoundCloud.
Right, but I mean, even outside of, like, you know how on YouTube they allow nudity if it's, like, in a certain context or whatever, they sort of judge, like, oh, you're just showing nudity in the context of a music video, but it's not, like, pornography. So they have that line, but I guess apparently audio is just not enough of a, like, offensive medium so that you get things like this.
Okay.
Come here, big boy. You know, I'm gagging for that cock. I want to unzip your trousers.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. So. It really just starts to sound grotesque.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I appreciate the extensive narration of exactly what's happening. Calling them trousers, though, I'm not really sure.
I've noticed the waveform gets really large and big at the end. I feel like I'm not going to play that part.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few of these on SoundCloud, just like Blowjob SoundCloud uploads.
Erotic audios. What are there comments throughout it? Like, because, you know, sometimes people can, like, comment, you know, while they're listening, where they're like, I like what you did here, or whatever.
Yeah, like, where's the drop? No, but there's nearly 3,000 listens, and not a single person has commented, probably because it shows their profile while they do that. So
right, yeah.
Maybe that's why. But, yeah, pretty interesting genre. And then, of course, there are numerous other songs entitled Blowjob. But I thought, you know, obviously there are. But I thought that we should perhaps mention the great Canadian electronic music pioneer Bruce Hack, who was born in Alberta, of all places. And he has a song called Blowjob, and he's just like, I don't know if you're familiar with Bruce Hack. But
I am not.
Like, he's super cool. A lot of my friends are really into him. He was born in Nordegg, Alberta in 1931. He died in 1988 in Pennsylvania. But he made like very weird like library music kind of thing, or children's music and synth music. And he's very influential as an early electronic musician. And he has a song called Blowjob. So I thought, you know what? There's never going to be another reason to play that on here.
Okay.
Except I had it muted so that those sweet blowjob sounds wouldn't be drowned out. Okay, here we go.
Welcome. Second best, my friend. The living part of life is just a blowjob.
The next line is, you left your courage in a tree and history gave you a blowjob.
Wow. I mean, that one made me harder.
Yeah, exactly.
So I liked it.
Perfect. Well, you know what? There's a few other songs I wrote down about blowjobs, but I'm going to skip them because there's something very important that I forgot to mention. This is crazy, and this was really ruining my day because while I was looking up the lyrics, I found this, and I cannot find any record of it anywhere, and it's killing me. But on multiple lyric sites, there is something listed as the Blowjob song remix.
What the fuck?
And it only exists on the lyric sites. I can't find it anywhere. But the lyrics are, it'd be nice to have your hands washed, repeated multiple times, and then immediately, instead of from your mom.
What? This is on so many lyric sites.
It's everywhere, and I can't find it.
What the fuck?
It was killing me. I almost didn't want to bring it up because it was the one that got away.
This is like very hard. Why? How does this not?
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I feel like this is. Oh, now I'm just looking at porn. Fuck. There's so many windows open. Oh no. But like, I think it's a translation issue, right? Because when I look it up exactly what you just sent me, like Blink-182 lyrics, Blowjob song remix, most of what I'm getting is, it appears to be things that, like, because these are just like sites that are scraping and aggregating shit from other sites. And as you go deeper onto like other pages, these are all like German sites. They're all, like weird .nl, .cf, .gq.
So are you suggesting that through being lost in translation, the term blowjob has changed to hands washed? And
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
From
so
your
like,
mom has changed to immediately?
Hold on. Well, okay, I'm going to look up on Google Translate, and I'm going to put in the lyrics, and then just go back and forth and back and forth. I'm going to basically snow job the lyrics to blowjob, and see if I can like recreate this error, because maybe they're thinking like you blow your hands.
But why would it be
dry.
listed as a remix then? How does that work?
Because I don't know, man. I'm not.
I love this theory that you have, but I think that's, again, just like you're living in a dream world.
Okay, hold on. So the German translation of "it'd be nice to have a blowjob" is "Ich wär schon on einen Blowjob zu haben." So the word it hasn't translated is blowjob. But let's just swap that back and then see what I get. No, it turns out that translates pretty cleanly to "it would be nice to have a blowjob." So, but translation has improved a lot, since the days of Babelfish. So, because that's an easier story for me to stomach, an easier story for me to swallow than the idea that there's like a masturbatory remix of the song that we can't find.
Well, it's such a clean, like, I love that it's like a clean version. It would be nice to have your hands washed immediately. That also has a bit more of like a metaphor to it, maybe. It's like you're wanting to wash your hands of something, of the shame of doing a podcast about Blink-182's Blowjob song.
Right. Like, I can't wait to wash my hands in like 45 hours whenever this episode wraps up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, or maybe this is like, because I found somewhere, I think this first appeared like 2006 or something, 2005. But maybe this was like a LimeWire. You know how there was always like fake parodies on LimeWire? And there was always like some shitty Weird Al knockoff who was like very racist or very shitty. And I'm not separating those two things because I think being racist is shitty, to clarify.
But sometimes there were ones that were just shitty, and sometimes there were ones that were racist and shitty. No, I think that's the separation that you're making. I understand.
There we go. Yeah, but so maybe this was like maybe somebody had uploaded a remix of the song to LimeWire that was aggregated only on non-American websites that has since been immortalized on these weird lyric sites that, I mean, no one's ever heard of lyricsbox.com.
Okay, well, maybe if you are one of our ex-North America listeners, probably not England, probably one of the other like real European countries. And you can maybe let us know what your experience with this sort of much more metaphor-infused version of is the remix that like it's a metaphor now? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, mostly a remix would imply, like remixing the sounds of it, adding a more danceable beat. But this is like, no, we're remixing the entire lyrical approach, and that's what's so clever about it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do know that speaking of which, there is a parody of this song that I found. So we're not into the covers yet, Sam, unfortunately, but
I know.
There's a parody of the song, but it's not in English. So once again, perhaps somebody else can enjoy this better than we can, because I don't know what Anthony Channel is saying. His last name is actually Channel.
I hope so.
He's just destined to be a tuber.
That's it.
Yeah, so there's a minute and a half intro to this video with seems to be some sort of plot. I don't know. It seems like a very high concept parody, but I guess, I don't even know what language this is. I don't know how to tell what's going on, but
so
you know what?
I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's Italian. So if you are fluent or even conversational in Italian, perk your ears up. The description reads, "Beautiful to all pipe Pisciolotti. Today I'm back with a parody dedicated to the blackberries of Ignazio, the son of Simone Fancasista. All the fault of Richard Hatumanin. Blowjob zu haben." So Blowjob zu haben rears its head again. Rears its head.
Somehow you made that sound even more offensive when you read it.
I thought that was like a really good...
No, I'm kidding. I felt like I was in the old country, picking
Yeah.
olives or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to play a little bit of the preamble in case there's some context clues there. And for the rest of us, I guess we can just all tune out and look at our phones and sort of get caught up on our other tasks while this plays.
Well, we've both been getting a lot of messages, man.
Yeah.
Ti meriti proprio una parodia contro di te. Richard, ti meriti proprio una parodia contro. Sì, sì. Grazie.
Il povero Ignazio ci ha lasciato per colpa di un cabellaccio. Il povero Ignazio ci ha lasciato per colpa di un cabellaccio. Il povero Ignazio ci ha lasciato per colpa di un cabellaccio. Il povero Ignazio ci ha lasciato per colpa di Riccia.
And there's still another
Hilarious.
full minute after that of
skit?
whatever sort of. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what he's like getting at with this.
I just
Probably
don't-
great though.
Yeah, like, to be honest, it was a reminder of the fact that I kind of think the song is like pretty fun melodically, even though it's it's like the most derivative possible Blink-182 sounding Blink-182 song. Like, it's sort of a fun melody.
I agree. I do agree. And I think that, again, whether it's because Tom has just created a world for himself where his every lazy thought now sounds like he set the parameters so that anytime he comes up with something as lazy as possible, it sounds good. Mm-hmm. And then because of that, once again, a dumb throwaway joke song, you're like, this probably could have been, like, it's better than All the Small Things.
Yeah, totally. That song is 100 times the song that All the Small Things is.
Yeah. So one more
Did you have
thing.
any good messages while you were, like, not listening to that?
No.
No.
There's one unread, but I don't think it's good. I don't think it's what I need to get this work thing nipped in the bud.
Okay.
There is, I will mention, there's a cover band from Australia called 182 Blowjobs. So it's just a real clever, funny name, befitting of the intelligent people of Australia.
Yeah, it's the most Australian band name imaginable, for sure.
182 Blowjobs.
Hey, Foster's beer.
And then just because we've been talking about gaming so much lately, we haven't played a video game tribute in a while. So I thought we should probably check out this one because it's a Club Penguin video.
What is that?
Club Penguin. I think I kind of even remember this. It's like an online based.
Is it like a Second Life kind of thing?
Kind of. It's from 2005. It's like it was like a browser based game where you like become friends with people on this Club Penguin. But I remember reading somewhere that like people were using it for sinister means. I can't remember if it was like recruiting
something
to
on the
terrorist
internet
organizations or maybe something to do with sex pests. I can't remember. There was something bad on Club Penguin, but it was just like you go hang out with penguins, and half of the penguins are undercover sick freaks who are trying to, ruin your life. But someone has taken the penguins from Club Penguin and made them sing the lyrics of the Blowjob song. And so you can actually see the in-game messaging. They're saying it would be nice to have and then it says because you can't say blowjob. So that's probably what they should have done in RuneScape so that guy couldn't have said all that Columbine stuff.
Yeah, like all things considered, I feel like it's pretty easy to block people from threatening to blow up a school and having them spend years of their life in jail for no good fucking reason. But yeah.
Yeah, but either way, I guess maybe he should have been playing Club Penguin instead of RuneScape.
You should hit him up and say, "Hey, man, just you probably still want to play." Is he legally allowed to play video games?
Yeah, I think he's becoming a RuneScape streamer now. Of course.
Oh, so maybe you can say, "Hey, man, like it's obvious that you've had some problems, sort of keeping a lid on your sort of." Your style of trolling humor. Maybe a better game for you to stream would be Club Penguin. All the cool free speech YouTubers are doing it. Right. Like Prison Planet, Loves, Club Penguin. Fucking ass.
I don't know. I don't want to piss him off. So let's get into covers, Sam.
Okay. We were going to play the Club Penguin thing. It was just you just wanted me to look at it.
There's no audio. I just wanted to show you what it looked like and
Okay.
show you what they were doing. It's just the recording of the song. So again, this podcast is just for us to listen to. We might not even release this one.
I think this one should just be like a little a private keepsake. We'll just say, "Hey guys, on Friday, sorry we recorded an episode, but we buried it in our backyard." And
I've saved it on my desktop as Untitled 8 because there's so many other files called Untitled.
Right.
So one day I'll revisit it, or I'll put it in. Do you ever get your desktop so messy that you put it all in a folder called desktop?
Yeah.
That's on the desktop.
Old desktop, yeah. I don't even put it on the
Yeah.
desktop. I move it into my documents folder, and then I never
I was
think
looking
about
at
it
my
again.
old external hard drive, and I found like a 4 times incepted desktop folder, like within itself.
You should take a look and see how many episodes of this podcast are hidden in there.
Yeah. So, Sam, I have a question for you based on context clues and based on the history of the podcast. Do you think that the legions of Blink-182 listeners were they A, creative with covering this song? Were they B, clever with it? Or C, were they just dumb, smug pieces of shit who played acoustic guitar and did the most lazy thing possible? Now, think carefully before you answer.
I feel like the answer you want me to say is C, smug pieces of shit doing acoustic covers that they think are more clever than they are. But you know what?
Oh yeah, I forgot that you're Mr. Optimism Man.
I feel like this is the week that all of the shit fans of the internet surprise me, and so I think they're going to be A, clever. Was that what A was?
I don't know. While you were talking, I just queued up like 5 acoustic covers.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, okay, I know.
No, I don't know if I can even handle playing them all. Some of them
Because we know how they fucking go, man. We know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play because I'm so kind and generous. I'm just gonna play the interesting ones. Okay.
Okay.
So, this one I think I'll play first because I just had written down "terrible" in all caps. So this looks to be on the quad, so to speak, or whatever. What does it mean, quad? Like at school when they say, "I'll meet you on the quad."
Well, I mean, I think usually it would be like in the center of all the buildings, right? So it would be like
So there always is 4 buildings? Like there has to be 4?
I don't know. I mean, like we had my only experience with this is I attended Ryerson here in Toronto, and we had a quad that was in the middle of a building that was a square. So it was a square. And so I was like, I guess that's why it's a quad.
Right. Well, I don't know. I guess that's why. I don't know if there's is there a quad on Harvard Online or?
Yeah, Harvard Online. It's an e-quad.
It's more of a Club Penguin setup, I think.
It is. They've actually Harvard Online is just a mod for Club Penguin, but
It's just a new skin.
yeah, exactly. They just use the API, and all the penguins are like business analytics.
All right, so this is at California State University in San Bernardino, and it was uploaded by Hey I Tai in 2012. Since then, it has accumulated 169 views.
Nice.
And let's just we'll describe it after. Let's just watch and listen, and just let the senses overwhelm us.
Take 2 steps. Oh. Wait up.
You ready? E-Time? It would be nice to have a blowjob. 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 It would be nice to have a blowjob from your mom.
Now, do you think that this video could have been submitted and the dean would have been like, these people are clearly too stupid to be here? I feel like that should be a law. I mean, the guy in the middle is not even playing at all. I guess he's the Travis in this situation because he doesn't even pretend to play. He just dicks around with the capo. The guy on the right is playing at a completely different speed than the man who is drumming on the picnic table. They're both singing in different keys. And I think the worst part is they're having fun, and that makes me angry.
Yeah, this shouldn't be fun for you. Yeah, these people should be expelled. Like, if this were a college movie with people hanging out in the quad, having good times, and the nasty dean comes and, you know, we've learned to love these characters up until this moment, right? So you get an entire first act of like, these guys are sort of like, you know, they're dummies, but they're lovable and they're trying and they're like fun, they're nice friends, right? And it's obvious that they are the sympathetic protagonists of this film. And then they do this, and the like mean dean who always is cracking down on fun and doesn't believe in, you know, anything that doesn't follow the rules is like, you have to go, you're too dumb. Everyone watching would feel, yes, this is correct.
For the dean.
You cheer for the dean. Like, this is...
They would invent a new narrative structure where halfway through the movie, the protagonist completely shifts.
Right. It's a movie about this just like dickhead dean who's like honestly just trying his best, his or her best. And, but the dickhead dean is always a guy, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, what's with that?
I don't know. And that's actually one of the things that at least makes me curious about the men's rights movement.
Well, there's the quote of the week.
In cinema. I know. I feel no peace anymore doing this used to be a fun place to go.
No, not this week. All right, I lied. I'm going to play a not interesting
one
because I just want to torture you more. This one, I feel like there's 2 guys who look like Patrick Stump at different eras of his life. And then there's just a guy in the middle playing guitar. But this is uploaded by Super Dude 104 in 2006. And it's Ronnie, Ryan, and Zach singing on a late night Thursday party. Now, I think in order for it to be a party, there'd have to be more people there maybe. But I don't know.
Maybe they're in another room.
I mean, that's generous. But yeah, so here's their... And I like that their video is only 13 seconds long. That's probably why it has 4,000 views. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob from your mom.
Harms, though.
I mean, it's got the harms. Yeah, like I don't love that the one dude looks like Ed Sheeran. I I don't like that there's an Elvis poster on the wall, but I like the Harms a lot. And so it makes it kind of hard for me to be super like they're trying, you know?
That makes it a little bit even worse for me.
I
but,
imagine.
okay.
Yeah.
Quite a bit worse. All right. Well, there's actually two like this, but I'm going to play you the worst one. I'm going to end the acoustic section, and then there's one more thing that's also terrible. There's really no good covers of this song. But this was uploaded by Doyle Perez, and it has 65,000 views. I think the name of his like act is D at C, because that's how this is uploaded. But it's D at C, Blink-182, Blowjob, Acoustic. And this makes me really, 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 really grossed out. Okay, here we go.
It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It'd be nice to have a blowjob. It'd be nice. And it would be nice to have a blowjob.
I kind of like joke season now. We're just like truly the end of
Jokes?
life itself.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his Instagram now.
Why?
Oh my god. I was trying to see where he lives, but instead I'm treated to him wearing a keep calm and carry on apron.
You know, like, I realized one of the problems with you tweeting out all of the videos and songs and stuff that we listen to every episode is that you subsequently include people's names. And so if people are searching for them, they'll see them. And so there was a guy kind of like this, and I don't remember which episode it was. I don't remember their name. I don't remember what's
It was the one that you said sounded like Owl City, and we shat all over it.
Yeah, well, not only did we say it sounded like Owl City, it was one of those ones where I was like, he looks like a future sex pest, like one of those guys. Like, I was being, like, really mean about the way that this person looked, like,
Right.
because I didn't like the way that their songs sounded. And then I saw them tweet at the account, like, thanks for the mention. And I was like, please don't listen to the episode, because it's like, it's unnecessary. I wouldn't say any of this to your face. I'll just say it into a mic and assume that it will have no consequences. Like, this.
Well, I have been forgetting to do that the last couple of weeks, and no one's noticed.
Thank God. Please stop. It's just like, these are the kinds of guys that, like, you saw in the scene and, like, did this at shows, and then 10 years later, everyone's like, oh, you didn't know that fucking, like, Dat C was a fucking sex pest? And you're like, no, oh my God, I had no fucking idea. And then you look back and you're like,
There
well,
was no
fine.
clues. If only I could have seen the clues somewhere that
Yeah.
he was a creep.
Like, what would I have fucking done? I was like 16 and a piece of shit. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, he's really rebranded on his Instagram. He no longer has that long hair or that floppy beanie.
No, it's
He's
great.
now-
Like, at a time where, like, it was cool to be kind of emo, he looked like that, and now he's a real, like, you know, just handsome fitness bro. I don't even know. I mean, good for him.
But I just don't understand. There's like even no one like commenting is like, haha, that was a great bit that you did. Like, no, I think everyone's taking this at face value, and he covers other Blink songs. It's like there's no like irony going on whatsoever.
Well, I mean,
I don't get it.
maybe Siobhan from NME had a point that Americans just don't get irony.
Maybe we all owe Siobhan an apology.
Maybe we're a little British, Josiah.
You what? Okay, well, that was clearly the rock bottom of Acoustic, but there's one more that I have to mention, or some Punisher
One more
will get
cover
mad.
or one more acoustic cover?
One more cover in general.
Great. I just want to know how to approach the next 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah, don't worry. I am again. Joke season really brings something out of me where I just want to get through it.
Dude,
we've only
been
been going for
talking
an hour and a half.
Yeah. Okay, good, fine.
So
yeah.
this band that we begrudgingly have to mention sometimes that I'm pretty sure neither of us have ever actually heard.
No.
All Time Low.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do we have to list? Do we have to learn who they are in order to keep doing this
I
project?
think we're good,
Probably not.
man. I'd like. It's bad enough that we have to keep listening to California Deluxe tracks. I'm not going to figure out who All Time Low are. I worked for Alternative Press. I didn't work. I wrote for Alternative Press. I had plenty of opportunities to figure out who they were then, and I didn't take them. I'm stuck in my ways now.
It seems like they're really good chums with old Mark Hoppus there.
Yeah,
So,
they're
I don't know,
besties,
They
man.
seem to be in the club.
They're just, to me, what I dislike about All Time Low is really what, because this is not one of those things where I'm like, I'm old and I haven't listened to it. Like, I've put on All Time Low records because they had all of the signposts of bands that I like. They had the dumb hair and shit and like, some stuff that I was like not as into. But in general, they took all of the superficial signposts of music that I loved and that I think that you loved, and then just did nothing with it. Like, their songs are fucking nothing. There isn't like...
I've definitely listened to multiple songs where I was like, okay, I'm going to get into All Time Low today, and I just can't do it.
No.
And I have listened to every Simple Plan record, including the French dubs.
and there are bands that like did this that it wasn't 100% my thing. Like, we've talked about this before. I don't love Fall Out Boy. It never connected for me. But there are definitely a few Fall Out Boy songs where I can be like, I fucking get it. This song bangs. And then there are at least other songs that I don't like, but I understand it. Like, I get the appeal. It just lacked emotional resonance for me. This, I don't even get it. Like, I just feel like
it seems like there's no point of talking about it, and yet here we are.
Here we are. It's the story of our lives, Josiah.
But in Copenhagen in 2011, they did a fairly clever little switcheroo with two different covers at their live show. So I'm going to let you experience this for yourselves. And perhaps this is an entry point to All Time Low, because this did make me want to listen to more. But then even talking about them right now, I feel angry again about the existence of their original songs. So I don't know. But listen to this little clever little thing that these guys did. I thought that they really went into the whole thing, but I guess that's how much people like this band, that him saying the one line, it was uploaded as a cover. Final thoughts, Sam, please.
Fuck. I mean, I like this. I thought the song was sort of fun. Stupid, sort of a little ska, which we didn't even really touch on, but it gets played in it's like real herky-jerky, janky ska vibes. And that's... It's kind of like low-key a ska season song, and that's interesting. By the end, I hated it, and I hate people who like Blink, including myself. And I did not expect to be so dejected at the end of the Blowjob episode, but maybe if I was being honest with myself, I knew it had to end this way. Josiah?
Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping that we could be a little bit more pretentious on this one, but I feel like there hasn't been enough time, so we had to honestly engage with it, and it's just like kind of nothing. And I feel like when joke season is over, we'll finally be ready to find like the most pretentious Tom song and really engage with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
This self-imposed joke song hell that we're in.
Jesus Christ, man. It's the thing that's so scary about it is like we spent the first joke season episode mostly making fun of like epic bacon culture, and that when you're talking about these kinds of songs, like I don't even remember which episode it was, like we were talking about horse fucking, and this stuff has come out of my mouth in the last 4 episodes that is so not even perilously close, but just like 100% epic shit. It's like trying to convince yourself not to touch like a hot pan, but you really want to eat the pan. I don't know, man. Let's save me. Like, just do something right now, please.
I just like watching you flail. It's really good.
I'm done.
We have a guest, and he picked this song.
So fuck off.
His wife, Kitty, picked the song "Fuck a Dog," and then he went on to pick this song. So they're really torturing us for something that I don't know what it is, because I don't know if they've ever listened to the pod before.
Right. But clearly
I guess
a great couple. Like I like that, you know, on the same wavelength.
So it's Sam Ray, also known as Ricky Eat Acid, and also of the band American Pleasure Club, formerly known as Teen Suicide. And yeah, he wanted to talk specifically about Blink's performance of the song in Australia in the year 2000. So this was his idea, and he has done this to us. You just can't trust people named Sam, you know?
Yeah, fuck off.
It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice.
All right, we're here with Sam Ray. Welcome to Blink 155, Sam.
Hell yeah!
So this is kind of a family affair for you this month, because we recently had Kitty on the pod, and then you recommended this song to us, which is kind of amazing to me. You guys are just really meant for each other, I think.
That makes me so happy to hear. I agree, but it's like one of those things where, like, you know, it could be this kind of superficial, like, connection of, like, you know, people meet each other through music, in music, and they're like, oh my God, your favorite song is my, like, we found out after we got married, because of the way we got married was so quick. I mean, we were best friends, but, you know, we didn't date really. And it was this moment of, like, you know, we've never talked, like, I think it was, I know, it was This Must Be the Place by the Talking Heads came on, and, she was like, oh, it's my favorite song. And I'm like, no fucking way. Like, it's my favorite song. And that's dope. It's spooky. But, like, that could be the depth of it, you know?
Yeah.
That's that. But, like, and that would be a shitty marriage probably. But, like, no way. Like, we got married because we went to Chili's. And Chili's was doing buy one, get two others free margaritas for like $3. And this is like, it's like a Simpsons episode in the good way. Like, you know, Ned and Homer go to Vegas and blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
You know, it's dope. But then, like, we find out we had, like, no, it's not just like the like stupid, like, you could make a press list, talking points, 500 Days of Summer. Like, you like the Smiths? Like, you can make that, but it's like, it's the real things, like deep down, like we think pooping is hilarious. Like, right. You know, think fucking Blink-182's like actual best songs are like I Want to Fuck a Dog in the Ass, and the Blowjob song like only ever played live. And I was gonna say, like, as a joke, like, oh, you did that, I should do like Let's Fuck Grandpa. And then I realized, like, No, I have nothing to say about that song. Like, fuck that song. It's the Blowjobs. I think my actual favorite Blink song is probably Dysentery Gary, and I guess we'll get into like all of that. But like, that's not this. That's like who has anything to say about that song? Like,
I mean, both of those songs that you've mentioned, we've already done episodes about, and we've found plenty to say about it. But I mean. It's kind of amazing because we've already recorded the bulk of the normal part of the episode, and we've already talked about this for like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah,
you've opened a portal into like.
I love that. Like I'd only gotten to listen to bits and pieces before, and I loved it. Like, you know, I've never listened to a podcast in my whole life, so like it's all very new to me. And I listened to the one with you know, the Kitty did, and all the way through, and it was incredibly funny. And I was like, oh, this is good. Like, this is a somehow like you 2 hours of I Want to Fuck a Dog in the Ass, and I was just like driving, running errands, and I was like, so this is people listen to podcasts, like this is it. And then I remembered like what most of them are like, and I got really sad. Like the ones that aren't about Blink-182's, like, and shit like that's like the usually podcast is like I tried every new flavor of seltzer. And, dude, it's like, I'm Carl Castle, and this is like people like, I heard there was a new type of crab you can buy now in Maine. So I got in my car. I got in my 2012 Honda Accord. I drove to Maine. And I tried the crab. It's like, my God, like,
No,
I listen to that and not fall asleep driving. Like, it made me happy. And now the point is I've been listening to a lot of I've been going backwards since.
Hell yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, you're gonna get a lot stupider if you keep listening.
That's all I want in the whole world is to get stupider. I'm not smart. I'm not like Benjamin Buttoning my intelligence. Like, I'm not starting out like, what is the book? The King Arthur books where Merlin, he lives his whole life backwards. Like, he starts at the end of time, and when his life is over, God has created the world. It's like, my brain cells don't start at the beginning, at the end of time. Like, I'm not Stephen Hawking plummeting, like, that scene in Mac and Me that Paul Rudd's obsessed with, like, in a wheelchair off a cliff. Like, I'm starting mid-fall. Like, so it's cool.
Perfect. Yeah, I think you're like perfectly in the right emotional and intellectual place for this conversation. So
absolutely, at all times.
The other day, I saw you tweet that you didn't really grow up listening to punk and emo and stuff.
Which is true, and that's why I brought up the Dysentery Gary being the Dysentery Gary. I had a sentence that fell apart there, and I would just sound like a narc. But I brought up Dysentery Gary being my favorite because that's actually funny to me because I did not get to have fun as a kid. I mean, I'm not like a Mormon, but I shouldn't say that. I don't know what Mormons are like. The couple I've met didn't have fun as a kid, but I did not get to. I just didn't. Like, I don't know a lot of people that had a good childhood, but I didn't have a fun one. Like, I got kicked out of school at a young age, so I missed out I got kicked out for some stupid ass reasons too. It was I wasn't even bad. I just fucked up. I was a mouthy kid. I was mouthing off, and eventually they said that's enough. You have to go to bad school, and I spent and so my prime years of Blink-182 and learning to skateboard and busted my arm, on skateboards and trampolines and whatever the hell kids do in the suburbs. I just missed out because I was going to this school where we're on lockdown now because Jimmy fucking accidentally someone left the kitchen unlocked and he took a knife out of it. No one knows where he is.
Oh my God.
It was I didn't belong there, but it was I had to get everyone goes through some shit. I was one of the classic South Park episodes of lampooning all the kids have ADD. We have to medicate them all. Shit like that. It was just so over the top. I mouthed off too much, and I tore up my principal's flower garden, and that. Literally, he was that's enough. 5th grade, you're out. So I came back to school, regular school, in 8th grade, which is still time, but I fell in immediately with weed smoking ass. My best friend had a mohawk and was getting kicked out of school every other day for he'd show up with the anti-flag logo on his arm, in Sharpie, in an upside down flag and cross, and be fucking fuck you, teacher, that kind of shit. Kids who had chains on their pants. Kids said her and her brother called the type of kids we were no kids. I think it was. I might be wrong. There might be something else. So if she hears that, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But the point is, we are stupid, and we were so we're the exact kids that were fuck Blink-182. That's stupid kiddie shit. We fuck pop punk, man. We listen to The Germs and Mobb Deep and shit like that. My best friends were skater kids, and they all their musical taste was 100% influenced just by skate videos. So you were listening and I think we all hated this music. I hated it. I mean, I have a deep respect for the seminal punk bands, Fugazi, they were family friends of my uncle. Like, so when I was in 7th grade, he took me to the CD shop that used to be open in DC and bought me Minor Threat's discography. And he let me pick out whatever I want. I picked out System of a Down, and he picked me out Minor Threat. And he said, "You're not going to like this, but one day you're going to thank me for this." It was that kind of thing. And like, so I never got to have I tried to have a pop punk phase. Like when I was kicked out of school, I listened to Good Charlotte. They're from here. And I got really excited about them. And I was like, damn, this is the best band in the world. Like it's so catchy, but it's still hard. Like I was in 6th grade. I went to the mall and this is kind of a problematic story, I guess, but it's not on me. I was in the CD shop and I was wearing a Good Charlotte shirt, and these older kids walk by me and they go, "Hey, nice shirt, man." I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, thank you." I was all excited. They were and they waited the comically long amount of time, and they went, "If you're looking for the Good Charlotte albums, I heard they have a new one in the gay section." And I was like, fuck. It destroyed my world, man. I went home and cried.
Shit.
I that shirt in the closet. I had to beg my mom to buy me a Good Charlotte shirt with some shit on it, and I hid it in the closet and never wore it again, and disavowed. I was like, I'm never going to be uncool like that again. Fuck, man.
Yeah, that's so normal, I think. I think we all were shamed for liking the things that we like. Where, at least for me personally, now I put on a Good Charlotte record and I cannot believe the songwriting. It's so sick.
It's amazing. But that's just how it was. If it wasn't them, it would be someone else. It was no matter what you were into, if it was marginally enjoyable or people liked it, at that point in time, during the Bush years especially, it was just fucking uncool, and you couldn't argue it unless you were cool, and no one was cool. So I got I got into dumb shit instead, and I didn't like any of the music I listened to, but I was stuck listening to when you're a kid, you don't want to listen to Minor Threat and Fugazi and the Germs and shit, but you do because your friends tell you it's cool, and they're like, it's real punk, real hardcore, emo is actually Rites of Spring and shit like that. And we had a punk band, and it was terrible, and we wrote political songs. We thought there was our first song was about George Bush, and it was he had George Bush has a 3-inch dick, which is so not removed from Blink-182 at the end of the day, but it is what it is. And so the point of this is I grow up, I eventually get ostracized from these kids because I like Elliott Smith, and I just admit it. I'm he's great, man. And I get a girlfriend, so they stop hanging out with me, and I fall in with the ecstasy taking kids, and they all listen to Spangle and shit like that. And I fall in with the kids that listen to Cascade and shit like that. It's amazing. And and it just goes on like that. There's just clicks on clicks and clicks, and everyone eventually melds together into this thing of none of this fucking matters. It just you might roast so-and-so. Dan puts on Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah in the car, and everyone's like, oh, is this a goat singing? And it doesn't matter. You get past it all. And so I turned 20 and was going to 21 maybe. I was going to parties at the college. I didn't go to college, but I went to college parties with my friends, and they would put on Blink-182 specifically, I remember, and it was among other things, and it was this big nostalgic thing for everyone, we're wasted and we're going to listen to Dump Weed, and I had never gotten to hear all these songs. Maybe once, I heard the big fucking MTV hits, but I knew all the small things, but I was I heard Dump Weed, I heard Dysentery Gary, and I was just yo, this is awesome. I was writing songs then for years. I was in the Teen Suicide was a band already, and I was just heard all this for the first time really, and I was yeah, oh my god, this is so good. This is such perfect songwriting. It's so catchy, blah blah blah. And it I was holy shit, this is what I missed out on. And the songs are so fundamentally stupid. I need a girl that I can train. He's a fucking weasel. What the fuck, Dysentery Gary, just, all of them. They're just impeccably written. And that's I guess the disconnect of Blink over any other one of those bands where Adam's song strives for something, but like Good Charlotte was like, this is the anthem. Like, we're writing the song for all like the loners and weirdos, the kids who get picked last in gym class. And like, they had some real ass shit. Like when you break it down, like I want to go to parties where they got no guns. Like I've gone to parties in Waldorf, Maryland, where they're from. Like it's like that. Like they were just real like that. It's funny because like they were like the biggest, like they're posers, they're sellouts, they have their hair up and fucking spikes, like street punk fakes, like, and they were like the realest of all those people. Like they were just literally writing like what they knew when you like go back to it. Like not like Girls Don't Like Boys, Girl Like Car and Money or whatever, but like their first album, like they were just like really like, it's kind of this like desperate, sad, like really catchy, like real ass record. And like a lot of those bands like at least tried to like connect with kids, give them something, blah blah blah. It was like a very adolescent thing, like, and you might need it as a kid, but Blink like literally just are idiots in the best way. And like, I mean, they weren't always, and they don't remain, but like you go back to all of those songs and like what person is listening to Dumpweed and thinking like, this is getting me through, like a psychopath, like a person that like hates like everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what you're getting at, and something that I love about even following you on Twitter now, is that you're not really afraid to call out the bullshit all the time, and even shit talk, you know, like your own label or your like people you've toured with or whoever it might be. If somebody that you see them posturing, you call it out. And I think that's what we're talking about is like people just don't want to admit that something fun is fun.
Yeah. And like even you have something like poptimism, like that like becomes such like a big talked about thing for, you know, I don't think it still is that much, but for years in music criticism and like writing and Pitchfork and whatever, like not to single them out, just like anywhere, like poptimism, like we've all unfairly thought about pop music. Like, let's reevaluate. Like, Carly Rae Jepsen is like, oh my God, like, listen to this. Like, it's just good. Listen to it. And like, that's like fundamentally true. Like, just listen to it. It's good is like such a good thing to think. But then that got so twisted too, you know, so fast. Like, no one can just like sit with something and say like, this is cool because like, this is dope because I like it, because it's dope. Like, yeah. It's just like, I mean, I'm all for like dumb academic, like, let's all pretend we're David Byrne, like write a book about fucking like, you know, whatever, like Katy Perry's single. I love her. I saw her like last year. It was fantastic. But like, you know, I didn't go because I wanted an academic experience. Like, and I don't know. Yeah, it's like the thing. Like, I like that Good Charlotte story. Like that sticks with me so much because it's like now if anything equivalent to that happened to me at 27, it's just like, fuck it. Like, so, I mean, first of all, like in the gay section, fuck yeah, I'm going straight to the gay section. Where's the gay section? Awesome. It's probably dope. Like it's probably got everything I like in it. But like, second of all, like, who cares? You know, like, I don't know. I don't care now. I'm an adult. Like, I wish I hadn't then, but that's what being a kid is. And it's kind of cool because I don't feel like I missed out super hard on something by not like getting to like listen to all this stuff that I really like now. I don't feel like I had like some like second adolescence. I just feel like, oh, I got to legitimately discover like a whole bunch of music that I really like that I don't have any prior connection or feelings to, you know, in any way. I don't have any memories, and like it's not nostalgic for me. So like when it's good, it's just good. Like I just like listening to it because it's an awesome song, and you know, blah blah blah, so whatever. Yeah, which takes us to the Blowjob song, which is just fuck. Like,
so yeah, well, first of all, before we get to that, I was just going to quickly ask you, how do you think, because you're saying such interesting things, how do you think irony plays into that? And does it matter if you're like, does it mean any, because people used to always say to me, you can't like things ironically, and I used to think, yeah, I can, but now I don't know anymore. I'm so confused.
Irony is like the toughest cog in this all. Like, I don't know, like deep down, I guess I don't know. I think about it a lot because like, one thing is I don't believe in guilty pleasures. There's occasionally something that comes up that I'm like, that might be a guilty pleasure, like in this truest sense. Like, you know, if you like the audio of like there's CDs on Spotify or, albums, I guess, that I found that are literally fart sound compilation. You look up fart and you find like, this is an album. It's like big wet fart in the locker room. And it's like guys being like, good game. And then like big fart sound and shit. And like that is, if you legitimately want to listen to that for fun, like in your day to day, like, that might be a guilty pleasure. But hey, if you rock it and you rock with it and it's like your thing and like you own it, whatever, then it's not. Like that's what guilty pleasure is only a guilty pleasure if you feel guilty about it. And like that's that. Like there's like people used to be like, "Oh, you like fucking Lady Gaga?" Like, yeah, man, you better not like let anyone at the DIY show find out. It's like, who fucking cares? Like, yeah. I will own it. She's fantastic. And then like Poptimism, like I said before, Poptimism seemed to embrace that idea and like be like, you don't have to pretend to like something that's good ironically so that you can enjoy it. You can just enjoy it. It's made to be enjoyed. Like pop music is pop music because it's mass produced, engineered, like to be like the most enjoyable thing to the most people. Like it's like Starbucks coffee or whatever. It's sweet.
Yeah, it's like people who are like proud of themselves for being a Star Wars fan. It's like obviously, obviously
like the biggest movie in the world. Like you're a nerd for that. Like nerd is a good word that like doesn't mean what it used to mean. For example, just like punk and just like all of this. But like irony is in there too, where like irony, I've come to believe as I get older, is just like a completely bad thing to embrace. It's a good thing in like what it traditionally is. Like it can be very funny, it can be a very like, sometimes it's necessary to get through something like but if you are only able to engage critically with art and with pop art too, and with like, if you're like, if irony was the way it was back in, irony is like when someone makes a movie about like, I don't know the word for it if this is wrong, but like low class, like trailer trash, white trash people. And they're like, and they like try and be outrageous. And like, I'm going to cast like drag queens and I'm going to cast like real drug dealers and like, haha, like look at these idiots. Like that's irony. And like, if you're doing it without irony, you're making a John Waters movie because you genuinely love these people that you look at them as equals because they're people and they're just doing their thing. And you're like, it's objectively fucking wild to watch Divine eat dog shit. Like at least like it's wild to like 99% of people at least. And like, that's a fact, but that doesn't mean that, like irony would have ruined that entire like everything he did, and like irony just it gets in the way. Like I don't know, it can be a great thing. I used to be like a fucking weird Twitter fuckboy who just like
yeah I know. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but I think that's an interesting take. But okay, moving along. So you told us to do this song. And you mostly wanted to talk about the banter, so I'm just curious, first and foremost, what happened that you were like, oh my god, this is it?
It's a song that's about, like 30 seconds of music at a festival. I don't even know where a big day out in Sydney to like billions of people. And they played the Blowjob song. And it's, I think, one of the stupidest moments in music of all time because they spend 3 times the length of the song setting up the song. They clearly hate their audience. Like they're like at one point, and you can tell they're trying to not like be too mean. You know what I mean? Which I identify with that like strongly. Because at one point, one of them is like, I don't know who does what because I don't have the video up and I don't remember. But like someone is like, there's no music. Like, what are you doing? And they don't cut to the crowd, but you can tell that, like, just from that people are, like, moshing like shit. Like, there's, like, a fucking wall of death happening or something. Like,
hey, I got a song about that. Thank you. Hey, I want you guys all to cheer if you want me to sing a song about blowjobs. All right, it's nice to know that you're why are they... Okay, there's no music. The Australians don't need music to run around in a circle.
Hey,
It's something, but if nothing else, they're just like throwing each other around in crowds where it's like nothing is happening, and they just find that like so completely idiotic that like I mean, as a musician, imagining myself in those shoes, it's like I wouldn't care, but it's like that's the moment you realize that you just don't matter to this. Like you're playing the biggest festival, and you're there just to be a thing that's there. Like you're not the like someone's not going to your restaurant as a fancy chef to order the fanciest food and tell you how good it is. You're selling hot dogs outside the stadium, you know, and people are buying them.
Yeah,
cool, like making money, but that's the moment where you realize like it just doesn't matter what the fuck I'm doing. Like, thank God all my songs are so stupid. Like,
well, it doesn't even seem like they're not even like, and that's what I find amazing about their major air quote joke songs is that there's truly actually very little of a joke to it. Like it's so unwitty that I don't even understand how you could arrive at this kind of a quote joke.
Yeah, it has actually no need to exist. Like it's not funny, and there's no joke, and you know they didn't record this one as far as I know, and that's smart because it lets it just be this stupid thing that they had probably like. Let's be real, they probably made. I guess they didn't make this up because the harmony is like. Yeah, they could have. I could have made this song up if I had the right person beside me. Like,
it actually is like it's on their live album, Mark Thomas Show, a different version.
I guess that is like it's both things we're saying. Like it does exist, but it only exists as the live joke. Like it's okay. Like there's a moment at the very beginning of this, which is the reason I wanted us to talk about it, which is he says something about like, I'm going to play it real quick.
Hey, you know what would be nice right now is a nice, cold, refreshing drink of like a fruit juice or something.
Hey, you know what would be nice right now is a nice, ice cold, cool, refreshing blowjob.
Yeah, he goes, it would be perfect. A nice, cold, refreshing drink. On this particular recording. And then there are other versions where like he says other things. You know, you want to hear a song I wrote 4 days ago, you don't really have a choice, you might as well be into it, is the official lyrics. But this version at Big Day Out, he goes, it would be good, a nice cold refreshing drink. And the call and response is, it'd be nice right now, a nice cool refreshing blowjob. And that exemplifies just the lack of thought or care put into this joke. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of ways you could tweak that just a little and actually make it a joke.
Yeah, instead it's some like crazy, like it's gone through Google Translate 10 times kind of like non logic that it's almost remarkable that people would allow this to even happen. Like, who's standing there laughing at this and being like, this is the best day of my life? This big day out.
Like who, and like I'm like what the fuck? And the song is fine. The song is a Blink-182 song. It kicks in and it's like, wow, this has. On one hand, it's better than it has any right to be, and then you think, wait, though, every single song they wrote is here's some power chords chugging, and then the second guitar comes in going like do 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 like, and then like the drums kick in, and then there's harmonies and thirds, and it's over. Like, it's no different, it's shorter and stupider. It might be stupider, but it's no different than like the difference is like a real Blink song would have a verse and a chorus and a pre-chorus and hooks, and it would be phenomenal. Like, Dysentery Gary's my favorite because it has so many different hooky parts. There's like, let's get the deep vocals in there like for a second. Okay, now let's go fast and like loud and high-pitched, whiny, like super catchy. Let's have a guitar lead, like clean guitar. It really pulls out every trick they have, like clean guitar, melodic bass line, like, stop-start drums. Like the last chorus has different lyrics. Like it's everything that they do well. And this is just nothing. It's right. This is literally like a Rocky song or something, but for like 12-year-olds instead of 3-year-olds. Like, I mean, the same with I Want to Fuck a Dog in the Ass. Like, there's sing-alongs for, kids that are too young to really drink, but old enough to like smoke weed. Like they're just.
So in the banter at the start, how do you feel about Mark like trying to reframe it as this like inclusive thing? Like he says that it's about female oral sex as well.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I want to make this song for girls also. So this is just about oral sex in general. It's not just for guys. This goes for the girls as well. I think that the ladies probably like oral sex a lot too.
This is an ode,
Maybe not.
a tribute.
It's he's really ahead of his time with the inclusiveness of this song.
In terms of
it's almost woke.
Yeah, it's like he's ahead of his time in terms of being very half-assedly woke.
Yeah, and you can like watch that and be like, this isn't really a joke with a punchline that he's making. This is just like honest, but it's not honest for any good reason. It seems like either. It's just he probably looked at the crowd and is like, there's a lot of people here, and some of them are women. Like, if I say this, maybe they'll like dig this more or think we're less stupid for it, possibly. Like, I don't know. Like, you can't really say what's going on inside the mind there, but like, it is ahead of its time. Like, oral sex in general, it's not just guys. It's a song about like, oh my god, and then like, I want a blowjob. Like, it's just fucking phenomenally stupid. This is like the pinnacle of stupidity, and that's a good thing. And every YouTube comment is like, still better than Nicki Minaj, like still better than Twilight. Wow, this is still better than like Lena Dunham, like not a musician, like this is still better than Justin Bieber, like, you know, and like that's their fan base. That's why this song exists. Like, they don't care about that. And like, but like, they are like, they probably like, if I was them, I'd hate myself for that. Like, I hate myself for my fans, and I don't have any. Like, but like, I sure hate myself for the YouTube comments. Like, I guess one of our videos on YouTube has a picture of me and someone that used to be in my band that I'm friends with. We're kissing, and a lot of people. It has shitloads of comments from people that like the song but don't know that that's the band, and they're like, why'd you upload this song with a picture of these like F words, like, you know, slur.
Oh my
like,
God.
And like, I love the music, but I can't support the gay is my favorite. The gay. Like,
well, that, I mean, that qualifies you to be in the gay section along with Good Charlotte, at least.
I fucking hope so. Like, I feel very fluid in sexuality, even though I'm married, and that's fine. It's a good thing. But like, God, I'm there. It's just funny because like it's not like I'm playing this show. I don't have like I played like that meme on Twitter the other day. Like, vlog this if you played to 10 people. I'm like, fuck, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm not going to participate. That's my entire life, right there.
Like, what's the opposite of wig? Like, I was given fucking hair transplants by that. Like, I gained like a beard because of that read. Like, fuck. Like, but like, yeah, I don't know. So like, I read it and I'm like, I imagine being them, and I just like. Everything about Blink-182, like, this doesn't happen to me with any of the other pop punk bands and all that, really. But, like, with them, I just try and imagine how they feel now. And, like, that's not a bad thing. Like, but, like, there's, like, part of their fan base that has grown up and would go see them because of when they were 12 and they loved, and they'd be like, this is so funny and stupid, and, like, I'm having a great time tonight with my old friends. Like, and then there's the fan base that's, like, the exact same as when I was a kid, like kids. And it's like, but they're like, it's like, you know, I listened to the other episode with Kitty, and it's like that idea of like, does he still want to fuck a dog? It comes up so much. Does he actually? And then he posts all these pictures of his dog with his dog. And it's like, how does he feel doing that, knowing that everyone's gonna wonder or make that joke for eternity?
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
these jokes, these tossed off jokes are gonna haunt them forever. And what's even sadder about what you're describing is that Tom is no longer in the band. It's now Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio, and they still play Blowjob live sometimes, like 20 years later. Like that.
How does Tom Skiba feel about joining this band and being brought into that? You know what I mean? Like, Blink have a lot of serious songs now, and that dude is a serious motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter where he used to be. He's a Blue Lives Matter motherfucker now. Like, Like, not even joking. Like, he's on Instagram, like, yeah, you've seen it. Like, I think I saw that because of your Twitter, maybe even. But, like, he is fully committed to being a piece of shit. Like, not even saying anything bad there. Like, piece of shit there isn't even an insult. It's just, if you're giving away Chicago PD branded merchandise for your pop punk band, you're a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's the antithesis of what your music stands for, just as a genre. Like, no matter how you feel personally, like, yeah, I mean, like, no offense, Fat Mike is the worst person who's ever lived. He is the fucking, like, walking, like, example of what like, you get the machine from The Fly, and you put a 6-year-old obese, you put the kid from Bad Santa in one end, and you accidentally put, like, the fart that happens after you drink 12 PBRs in an hour and fall asleep and wake up and just completely shit your pants. Like, just like a cloud of shit happens. Like, it's not even like poop. It's not even liquid or solid. It's poop as a gas. And what comes out the other end of the machine is Fat Mike. And even he wrote songs that were, like, politically woke in a way at the time. Like, even he tried to do the right thing to an extent.
Well,
doesn't absolve him, but, like,
something that happened recently with him was he made this joke about the Las Vegas terrorist attack. And now all of their shows have been canceled. He got in all kinds of trouble. I don't want to get into whether or not that was okay, but something that was very ironic about that show was that they ended up, because of his joke, they donated all of the money from the show to first responders. So they gave all the money to cops, basically.
Yeah, like, Jesus. Also, like, the concept of Fat Mike getting called out. What the fuck? This is, like, my friend made a joke, like, are we going to call out SZA for smoking crack? Or, like, are we fucking, this is call-out culture now. Like, people, like, I saw on Twitter and everywhere else, earnest posts from people, like, my age and younger especially, being like, hey, guys, or, you know, people like Fat Mike, you need to know about him. And it's a bullet list of, like, your fave is problematic. Like, we're canceling Fat Mike because of this stuff. It's like, holy fuck, where have you been for 25 years? Like, where were you during the Kathleen Hanna stuff? Like,
right.
Where were you?
The Tegan and Sarah song.
Yeah, like, oh my God, man. Fat Mike is, like, don't make me go back and drag the fly metaphor out again, but that's what that's him. Like, there's no worse person in music without, like, going to the depths of, like, R. Kelly, like, criminal, like, shit. Yeah, but, like, as far as just being a scumbag piece of shit, like, the last guy on earth you'd ever want to have a beer with, you'd ever want to meet, you'd ever want to be in a room with, stuck in an elevator with, oh my God, like, Fat Mike is it. The last guy you'd ever want to introduce to your wife, girlfriend, mother, anything. You don't bring Fat Mike to a charity event. You don't bring him to an NA meeting. You don't bring Fat Mike. Fat Mike is, if you're Fat Mike's brother, like, oh my God, you fucking move to another country and you give him a fake address and you say, hey man, come visit me. Like, Fat Mike is, like, he is just the antithesis of everything we're working towards as a society. Like,
he's never been fat either. That's always bothered me.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, man? That's like me. Okay, I don't know. It's like, I'm letting that one go, but, like, he's not fat. Like, and that, it's like girl band or young black teenagers, the all white rap crew.
Right.
Like oh man. Well, and it's not like he ever, like, you're right. It's not like Fat Joe, like, getting skinny. It's yeah. Or Young Jeezy dropping the young, or my all-time favorite, an R.I.P. because I loved the man's music, but Chink's Drugs being called out, you know, he's like, I'm not getting gigs, I hear, because people think my name is, like, problematic. So I'm dropping it and changing. I'm just going to be Chinks now.
Oh my God.
That is, to me, like, that's the funniest thing that's ever happened in music. It's like problematic to laugh, maybe. I don't know. But, like, the man was like, I've heard my name is offensive to people, so I'm taking the drugs away. Like, What?
See, irony still does serve a purpose.
And I'm not saying it should go away. It just should not be the primary lens you view things that you like through.
Absolutely.
Because then you become a piece of shit too.
Right.
And then, like, if you go down the road of irony too far, eventually you're, like, voting for Donald Trump, like, as a joke. Like, oh, it's ironic. Oh, fuck, I ruined the world. Sorry, guys. Irony is, like, on its own, not, but, like, in public, in society, like, nowadays, where we're at now, like, irony is kind of, like, tied to, like, white male privilege in a way that, like, you can be ironic about shit that hurts people if it's not hurting you. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
not music and stuff, but, like, in your actions. And that's what's fucked up, I think. That's
So maybe
like
I think that's like a good sort of conclusion, because I think that's the value of this song, is that there's truly no irony to it. We've established it's not even a joke. It's just like saying the word blowjob a bunch of times, and it makes people giggle.
And his, like, thing at the beginning of, like, this is a song about anyone getting a blowjob. Like, it really, like, at the end of the day, it's like this song has no punchline, which means that nobody is the punchline. Like, Blink weren't writing very many songs. Like, like, maybe there's some, but, like, they're not writing these joke songs like Fat Mike was, where they're joke songs at somebody or something's expense.
Right.
Like, it's just, like, it's kids, like, giggling at a funny word. Like, you know, it's purely stupid. Like, it's not Faces of Death. It's, oh, man, like, Evel Knievel got so fat he can't fit into the suit. Like, you know, you're not watching Live Leak. You know, you're, like, you're watching YouTube poops. Like, it's just stupid for stupidity's sake. It's like, and I think because of that, and not just because, then that's like me, I never grew up with it, but I came to love it at the age I did. And it's because it represents through that a period in people's lives, their music, their jokes especially, their stupidest music, more than ever, more than anything. It represents a period in anyone's life, you know, where shit was funny just because it was funny. And, like, you might, like, rag on your friends, like, as a joke, but, like no one is, like, there's no, like, punchline to it that's, like, a race of people or, like, women or, like they had all kinds of problematic now, like, to look at songs. But, like, the Blowjob song is just its own vacuum of stupidity. Like, it's vacuous, it's stupid, it's completely unironic. It's just them playing to a bigger crowd of people than I'll ever see in my life. It's like 100 times the size of Trump's inauguration. Like, just, I want a blowjob, I want a blowjob, I want a blowjob, I want a blowjob from your mom. Like, great punchline. Like, I guess that is the person that is fucking the butt of the joke. Your mom. Like,
right.
You know, but sorry, I forgot that.
Thank you for apologizing to my mom.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a vague enough punchline that I think it gets a pass. Hopefully,
it's universal. Yeah. You know, it's just universally stupid.
Perfect. Okay. Well, before I let you go, is there anything that you want to plug? Anything we need to check out? Anything going on in your world?
There's a lot going on in my world. I'm not going to plug it. Fuck, man, no, just fucking go find a good charity for what's going on in America right now that actually helps, and go donate to it. Don't buy my shit. Just fucking, if you want to listen to my music, listen to it for free and spend the money on anything that might help. Like, you can look it up. I'm not even going to plug one because I'd have to go research right now, and, you know, I can't think on the spot. But, like, go find something that helps. Like,
you've been too busy researching the Blowjob song.
I know, so I have to make up for it to penance, and, like, but yeah, go do, like, if you like, listen to my music, whatever. It's online. It's American Pleasure Club's Ricky Acid. But, like, if you like it, spend whatever you were going to spend on it to, like, help families not get fucking destroyed, or, you know, anything good. Because, like, I don't fucking need them. I don't care. Like, I don't need the money. Like, do that for me.
Perfect.
That's my plug. Do that for me, and, you know, don't be a fucking dick to people. Unless it's like, I want a blowjob for your mom, then it's funny because it's so stupid. Like, that's great. Link, I'm inspired.
It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be blowjob from your mom.